Thank you for downloading this in-ear entertainment podcast. You're listening to Shakespeare's Sonnets. Sonnet 25. Let those who are in favour with their stars of public honour and proud titles boast, whilst I, whom fortune of such triumph bars, unlooked for joy in that I honour most. Great princes' favourites their fair leaves spread, but as the marigold at the sun's eye, and in themselves their pride lies buried. For at the frown they in their glory die. The baneful warrior, famous for fight, after 1,000 victories once foiled, is from the book of honour razed quite, and all the rest forget for which he toiled. And then happy I, that love and am beloved, where I may not remove nor be removed. Wow, that was Sonnet 25. I thought that was going to be an easy one to read. It wasn't. I'm Mark Chatterley, and I'm joined by the wonderful and very smiley today...
Thierry Heles.
Yeah!
Almost missed the cue.
Almost missed the cue. We're going through, as you know, I'm sure, all of Shakespeare's sonnets, and we're up to 25, which is still the procreation... still the fair youth section, but not the procreation. We've moved on from procreation. We're now just talking about love in general of a young boy. That sounds odd. What do you think, Thierry?
I actually quite like this one. It's... People are going to beat me up for this, but I like the simple idea behind it. That you just... Yeah. That you can have all the honour in the world, but that you can quite easily lose that again. Whereas love is forever. Well, in theory.
Yes, less so now, maybe, with 50% of marriages ending in divorce. But we'll ignore that, and love is eternal. And obviously, people who've divorced still love the other half, just not enough to be with them. Maybe that's the way of looking at it. Maybe. This is quite nice. It's got the wonderful idea of the painful warrior, famous for fight, after 1,000 victories once foiled, is from the book of honour razed quite. Or the rest forget for which he toiled. So the idea that you can have 1,000 victories and be this most idolised warrior, one failure and your whole reputation is gone, and you're removed, you're razed, you're burnt from the book of honour is such a nice image, I think.
It's a very powerful image as well. It's an image that we would still know today, whereas some of the stuff that we've come across in Sonnet so far might be quite strange for the 21st century, but this is something that you can always fall from honour. That's probably true for eternity, as much as love might be
forever. And I think even in today's world, maybe it's more relevant than maybe it was in Shakespeare's time with the birth of the internet and TV and radio. It said that everyone gets their 15 minutes of fame, and you see that on the internet quite a lot with someone who becomes not so much the flavour of the month or the flavour of the week, but they become the flavour of the day, and then after that day they can say one thing and suddenly their whole reputation, what they've built up, is completely gone, and they are back to being an anonymous person on the internet. And it's quite an interesting parallel that seems to have gained in how it links and how it's perceived, I guess. Well,
even that, and I mean the forgetting bit as well. I mean, people will completely forget about the person. Once the new YouTube star or whatever has come along, people won't remember the guy who came. I mean, we all know Gangnam Style now, but 5 years from now, no one is going to talk about that anymore. It might occasionally pop up as the first billion view video, but people are not going to watch it anymore. It's just gone. The summer hit of 2012. Who cares in 2020?
Exactly. Well, who cares in 2013? It's come and it's gone. I find, because obviously the two analogies are kind of the same in this. There's the warrior analogy, and then there's the marigold one, which in my head, marigold means washing up gloves, which really, really threw me the first time I read this sonnet before I started recording. I was like, but as the marigold at the sun's eye, now I've just got this image of someone inside the sun doing their washing with bright yellow washing up gloves. But I'm guessing they mean the actual flower It's more likely.
I don't think Shakespeare would have talked about a son wearing washing up gloves.
So that analogy at the same time is the same thing. Great princes favour as their fair leaves spread, but as the marigold at the sun's eye, and themselves their pride lies buried. And that one's slightly more packed in Shakespeare and English, I guess. But essentially, it's saying princes. The favourite flower of princes is the marigold, and the marigold blooms while it's in the sun, and if either one of those two things go away, either the prince's favour or the sun, the marigold essentially withers, literally in one case and figuratively in another. But that's how I read it.
I've just looked up marigold. Apparently, it was thought of as an ephemeral flower in Shakespeare's time, which only lives for itself.
The arrogant flower. It's the YOLO of flowers. That's a very modern reference. You're shaking your head at me now. I'm sorry, I've let you down. What else did you like about this sonnet? It's very simple in the sense that it seems to just have a one line through, I guess.
I quite like that astrology seems to pop up again. Shakespeare seems to have still been quite fond of that. I mean, just the first line, let those who are in favour with their stars, basically. If you've got the right star sign, you're good to go. Just the idea that stars are responsible for life on Earth.
See, I didn't read that line like that, but that's very interesting. Yes. And was it, I guess, back then, they would have had so little grasp on sort of the wider physics and understanding of weather and stuff that fake mumbo jumbo would have been really high up on their list, I guess.
Well, we had that. I can't remember which sonnet it was. We had it a couple of sonnets ago. Shakespeare's. He was just around the time that Galileo was around, and they started figuring out not even how the universe works, but just how the solar system works. So it was still quite easy to believe that the things that they saw up there at night had some sort of power over them. Yes, yeah,
or were gods, or were dead people, or I can see. You can see why. I mean, I went on holiday this sort of autumn, just gone, and we went out to the Brecon Beacons, which has very, very low light pollution. It's just got dark sky status. And I remember walking out on the clear night when we were there, and it blew me away. Just the amount of stars. I've never seen anything like it. If you've lived in a city all your life, or even a town or a village, villages have too much light pollution. Try and get out somewhere where there's no light pollution, and then look at the stars, and it's insane.
It's quite breathtaking once you see that. What is actually you see a couple of stars if you're lucky in a city, but it's insane what you see in the countryside.
And you get this they've all got slightly different colours, and you get this sense of depth to the stars, which is something I didn't expect. But I guess in Shakespearean's time that would have been fairly usual.
Well, they didn't really have light pollution. They had candles. That doesn't really affect things that much.
And candles would have been expensive, so they would have been put out. And so it would have been a nightly occurrence if you were out at night to see this breathtaking scene. So I guess it's very easy to match something which is breathtaking and think of it as important, and therefore the importance becomes relevant to you personally, I guess. There is a kind of logical flow there, I guess.
Well, that's how the human mind works. We can't accept the fact that we aren't influenced, or that we aren't important ourselves. We like to think of ourselves as being important, and if we are important, then the stuff around us has some sort of influence.
Yes.
Some interaction with us.
When in reality, we're quite a meaningless group of people stuck on one rock.
Just the pale blue dot.
Yeah, the pale blue dot stuck on the end of an arm of a spiral galaxy. I mean, we'll
just quote the entire Carl Sagan now.
I do love that pale blue dot.
It's a brilliant passage.
And every month or two, someone puts it to a new video, which is always the same. It's always a slow time-lapse view of the sky. But it doesn't matter because it's still awesome every time. Go look it up if you don't know it. The pale blue dots, Carl Sagan, isn't it? Yeah. Very good. Anyway, I was back to the sonnet. This one's quite interesting. That I was looking. I read these from Wikipedia, so please don't find out what sonnet we're recording and go in and edit it before I get to it. That's not good. But,
I might do that.
Yeah, I know.
just to screw with you.
So funny. And they have these nice paraphrase. Some of the sonnets are paraphrased. Have you ever seen this on Wikipedia?
I haven't actually looked at them on Wikipedia.
It's where someone with no poetic mind at all literally writes out in prose what the sonnet says in English, and it's just hilarious. I think if you need to, people need to go look them up.
I'm googling it now.
So
there doesn't seem to be one for 25, is there?
Yeah. So the soldier metaphor is a great soldier loses his reputation completely if he loses just one battle. I am then more truly fortunate because the pleasure I take in you cannot be removed from me by any means. And I suppose it's a way of explaining the sonnet to people, but I just find it so bereft of rhythm and rhyme and heart, I guess, if you want to get all soppy. But I find them very funny to read. That was a nice sidebar, sorry. I'm just finding excuses for me to talk. I've decided I'm taking over the podcast.
That's fine. I'll just sit back and sip my tea and.
Oh no! You got to do the heavy lifting. I'm not feeling very well. These next 4 podcasts are going to be bad from my point of view. Sorry,
that's fine.
Thierry can do the heavy lifting.
This episode is brought to you by Tramadol.
yeah. No, not on my painkillers yet, but will be afterwards. The beginning is quite interesting. The third line, whilst I whom fortune of such triumphs bars, unlooked for joy in that I honour most. It's basically Shakespeare going, everyone hates me. So fortune of such triumph bars. So fortune has barred him from any sort of triumph in life, which we know is true from Shakespeare's life.
Yeah, no one talks about him anymore. He just
faded into the background, really.
Yeah. I mean, we're basically bringing him back into the limelight now.
Just us. But I found that quite... Because even at the time of writing, I guess these sonnets weren't meant to be public. And we've talked about that before, how these were written for someone as like a gift. But it's still a bit of an odd thing for Shakespeare to be writing. The whole... Yeah, no, I haven't done very well in life. The stars haven't been kind to me. It's a very odd thing, I think, for him to be saying.
Well... I don't know how he was treated. I mean, he was well known, and quite a few high-ranking people liked him. But there might still have been other people that had more honours and that he aspired to, that he knew he would never have. I mean, he wasn't sitting next to the Queen, and he wasn't a noble at court. It just... Saying that he has no fortune is maybe going a bit far, but there's always that next level that you can strive to achieve, and that you might know you can never get to.
Yeah, I guess I just find it. I think I find it a bit. I don't know what the word would be. My sick brain isn't working quick enough, but it's a bit arrogant. I guess this whole. It's that the teenage mentality, and a lot of people.
Yeah, I get that. No one likes me. Yeah.
Oh, why does no one invite me out? It's like, well, do something yourself. But it sets up the next line, which is unlooked for joy in that I honour most, which is him saying, I'm honoured in the sense that I know you bring honour into my life with your beauty. Please sleep with me, or whatever it is. The message Shakespeare's going for here. We just descend into silence. We should just do one of these podcasts of just both of us every now and then tutting and sighing.
Yeah.
But well, those were the main points I had for this one, and I've realised I've talked quite a lot on this one. Sorry.
I'm not even sure how long we have been going. Oh, it's not bad.
Because that's what we do exactly, listeners. Is we time them exactly.
At 15 minutes, Mark tries to hang up on me, and then...
That's it. The Sonnet's time is up. We don't care if it's interesting still. No, not quite. But sometimes these sonnets are a bit single track, and this one is very nice, and is probably one of my favourites, and quite a nice one to read. It's a bit single track.
It's got one simple idea. Again, people will probably shout at us for saying it has one idea, but...
You didn't read. Yes.
Yeah, you didn't see the 27 levels of the word warrior.
Yeah, and that's where I'm not going with this podcast, because we don't want to be dissecting them that much. Because they're fun. They're meant to be fun. They're meant to be interesting. They're not meant to be, I'm going to argue, academically studied. And I'm sorry if you do study them academically, and I'm sure there's a lot to learn, but if it wasn't the original intention, I don't know if that should be how it's looked at, I guess.
I don't think the original intention of any creative writing is ever to have it academically analysed.
Yeah, exactly. And there is probably merit to do it, and I'm quite happy with that, but yeah, they're meant to be fun, and I think, and especially Shakespeare, I think, suffers from this a lot, and so do other people, like Dickens, and even specific books like To Kill a Mockingbird and things like that. They suffer from this because they are academic texts and they get given to kids at school to study. They're never seen by all these children going through school, and when they reach adulthood, as something to enjoy. They're seen as something to study. And I think that's such a shame with Shakespeare, and I think it's probably a shame with all literature, is that it's there to be enjoyed, and that's what I'm trying to show, I guess. Oh, I should get
that would have been nice closing words for the end of the podcast, like the final episode.
Well, we've got the final one. I just cut that out, and we can use that in the last one.
This is it. We don't do the rest of them. This is just climax paramount. We've done it.
We've done to Sonnet 25, and that we got fed up. We didn't want to do it anymore. No. I'm gonna let you read.
I'm gonna read it now. Yeah.
Yeah, and I will admit at this point that I did stumble on it in the first bit, but that didn't make the recording.
It's fine. We'll make it into an auto-tune song. Okay. Sonnet 25. Let those who are in favour with their stars of public honour and proud titles boast, whilst I, whom fortune of such triumph bars, unlooked for joy in that I honour most. Great princes' favourites their fair leaves spread, but as the marigold at the sun's eye, and in themselves their pride lies buried, for at a frown they in their glory die. The painful warrior, famous for fight, after 1,000 victories once foiled, is from the book of honour razed quite, and all the rest forgot for which he toiled. Then happy I, that love and am beloved, where I may not remove, nor be removed.
That was very good. After that false start, that was awesome. Thank you for listening, person out there who's listening.
The one person.
The one person, and the others that we forced to listen. I've been Mark Chatterley.
I have been Thierry Heles.
And I will let him speak more next time. Thank you for listening. Bye.
Goodbye.
You've been listening to Shakespeare Sonnets with Mark Chatterley and Thierry Heles. This has been an In-Ear Entertainment podcast. To listen to other podcasts or find out more about In-Ear Entertainment, go to www.inearentertainment.com.